Let's go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here, right here with the one, the only, the general, getting big on all y'all. Diesel Automatic, ladies and gentlemen, joining us here on the Friday Night Super Show. Brother, how are you doing, man?
Yo, what an amazing introduction, man. I'm honored. I know you built it up beforehand, but I was like, really? Wow.
Hey, man, I like to bring in our big guest, man, with the biggest and the best type of intros that I possibly can. And, brother, it's been a long time coming getting you here on this show, man. It's a true honor, and I know I can speak on Dennis's behalf for this, man. A true honor to have you on the show finally, man.
Thank you, man. I'm humbled, and it's an honor to be on here, man. Y'all been, like you said, it's been way too long, but better late than never. And the two of you guys have definitely been, adamant supporters for the longest. I think even before you had the show, if I'm not mistaken, y'all formed the show after.
Yo, Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you real quick. When I was doing the Dennis Ford show, it was Friday nights. This is before we brought me and Lee's show together on Friday nights. But when I used to do the Friday night show, I don't know if you remember, I hit you up and I was like, yo, can I use this as my theme song? So I was using Freeway for the longest. I used it for like a good half a year, man. And that was like my intro to my show. So even today.
I mean, I'm sure you.
I don't know if you remember. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I don't remember, but I'm sure at that time I was very humbled and honored that you would even ask me that, because especially I was like right when the mixtape came out, yeah? Like after the mixtape first dropped. Yeah,
And then,
I don't remember because it has been quite some time, and I've had a lot of different interactions with many people. It's hard to remember all of the, certain incidents. But I don't doubt it for 1 second, because you guys have both showed me love for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I just remember that because I had certain songs, and then I had certain songs before that from different artists, and then right at that time I was discovering you because you did the song with Ghost Rider, and I grew up with David. I don't know if I told you that either, but me and David grew up in the same area, but he was on the south side and I was on the north side, but we all knew each other.
Ghost Rider, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we grew up together, and he did that song with you. Yeah, he did that song with you, and that's where I found you. I was like, "Yo, who is this dude?"
Was it Stan Tall or was it Stan? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was it Stan Tall or was it the one that he and I did with Bliss?
Yeah, it was the original one with Bliss.
Right.
Stan Tall was the first one I heard. Yeah, and actually, Ghost Rider was one of the first guests that we had on the Friday Night Super Show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yo, big up Ghost Rider, man. He was always good. People like we kind of fell out of contact, but back in the hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, my dog's over here being loud. Come here. I'm sorry.
We deal with that all the time. Don't worry.
Yeah, but Ghost Rider though. Yeah, he was. Back in the days, he and I, we connected. He was a cool dude. Definitely showed a lot of love.
He's always been a good friend of mine, and to this day, we're still good friends. But like I said, I heard that song, and I was like, yo, who is this dude? Because I remember when I heard your verse, and I was telling Lee this before the show, I was like, it's crazy. I wanted to ask you this question. We'll get into that in a minute, but when I heard your voice, it was sort of like an automatic, like machine gun. I was like, it was just hitting me. I was blown away. I was like, yo, who is this dude? So I started looking into your music, and then about that time, I was finding. I think I found Steve Grant before that, but Steve and all that was coming together, and then you guys worked out later on. But that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, how did you come up with that name? I mean, I'm sure, Diesel probably came from, your name, your real name, but like the automatic thing. Because I remember on Facebook, it used to be Diesel Automatico or whatever. You had like an O on it back then. But
that was on Facebook. That was just because, Facebook, they wouldn't allow me to do Diesel Automatic. Yeah. Diesel Automatic, they detected as not a real name, but Diesel Automatic, they thought was a real name.
Huh.
Right.
I don't really sense it, but hey, it's what I had to do. But to answer your question, though, it's actually, so back in the days, back in Chicago, people would like if you was big, people would call you Diesel, you know.
Mm.
So my old MC name was Drub, and cats would call me either Big Drub or they started adding the Diesel at the end, like Drub Diesel, and that's with me because I stopped rapping for quite some time, and then when I started again, you know, I wanted to have something still relevant to like who I was, but I didn't want to use the same rap name from back in the days. So I basically just dropped the first part and just took the Diesel, and then I was like, all right, but I don't want to spell it. I didn't want to spell it the normal way, so I spelled it how I spelled DISL, and I came up with the acronym Divinely Illuminated Spiritual Life Force, which to me really is just a human being.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you say that.
Yeah,
That's right. I think it's the one with I've heard you say that before.
Yeah. That's kind of just what like a spiritual, if you will, representation of a human being. Just illuminated me, and light. Everything is light to a degree. You know, everything we see is because of light. So you know, and illuminated, not really even in the sense of like obviously not no Illuminati shit, but the actual word illuminated, you know, just means enlightened.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really mean it in the sense of like, because let's face it, we're not all enlightened.
That's for sure.
I'm not enlightened. I mean, we're not all on that level of enlightenment that when you say enlightenment, people think of the Buddha or something like that. I didn't really mean it like that. I just kind of meant this life force, this energy force that's divine, that comes from God or the universe or whatever you will, this life force that connects us all. You know, I'm just a representation of that.
Mm-hmm.
And once I kind of had that, but I came up with some other acronyms too, like Damn, I'm So Lyrical. That's another one. That's a really fun one.
That's fitting.
But, yeah. Then I had the Diesel down, and I was like, man, Diesel's dope, but it's missing something. Like I felt like it was an alley-oop, and I needed something after to slam it down.
Mm-hmm.
Over here, it's like, you know, because I'm in Europe, so there's a lot of diesel cars. And most people drive stick shift here in Europe, where I'm at. But if you have an automatic, they specify. So they'll say like, oh, it's a diesel automatic as a car. And to me, it honestly just had a nice ring to it. I just like the ring. It just sounded good, like diesel automatic. Yeah, all right. But then, me being the person that I am, I needed to add meaning to it. And it just so happened, you know, I feel like it was just meant to be, because when I actually researched, you know, the meaning of automatic, the etymology of it, it comes from the Greek automatos, which means self-will.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just perfect. So basically, and diesel is also you know, a form of fuel, like for the car. But fuel is what? Fuel is energy. So ultimately, the meaning of my name is basically just self-willed energy or life force, which is just a human being. So really, diesel automatic to me, in my mind, just is another way of saying a human being. An understanding of what a human being is.
And kids, man, if you haven't heard Diesel's music, you know, that explanation there, it fits so well into what he does with his body of work, you know, especially when it comes to music, because I've got to say, in each and every song that I hear from you, you know, it comes through with a positive message. There's something positive coming up in there. And that means that, you know, it comes across to me when you explain that story and the etymology of the words, man, that you're self-willed to be positive and to bring that positivity to other people. And dude, that's a commendable thing. Not a lot of people in this world do that.
And most rappers, just to throw this out there, most rappers that I've known, or even modern day, they don't really put a lot of thought into their name. So that was always intriguing to me when we had artists come on. I was always interested in where they got their, you know, the idea behind their stage name. So it fits you perfect. And like I said, the automatic, to me, whenever I hear your music, matter of fact, I've been playing it. I play it all the time. It's always in the playlist. But today I've been playing it, and you always have this energy. You know, you have like an energy that is not really, nobody else can really do what you do. I know that, you know, for every artist is different, but like the energy in your music is just like, if I'm having a bad day or like if I'm thinking about something, I could put your music on, or if I'm going to work out or something like that. It's just that energy that you can put in your music that is just like I said, when I first found your music, that was something that I latched onto. I was like, wow, this dude.
It's like the Pantera of hip hop. It gets up in your face and like, get up and get going, boy. It's like, yeah,
It's like a punch in the face.
I love it, dude.
And Lee is not the biggest hip hop fan. I don't know if you know that, but Lee is not into hip hop as much as I am. But
well, you should see the looks I get on the job site. When I'm playing like Payday and DISL and Steve Grant and stuff, and they're looking over at me and going, "You are this big gray-haired, long-haired old dude with a big old beard, white as the day is bright, and everybody else on the crew is too. But we all rock your music. We rock all that stuff because it's a music with a message, man."
I wish you guys could see me. This whole time you're talking, I just got a big ass smile on my face. Like, I love
man.
it.
Well, shit. You deserve it, baby.
I mean, that's one of the things that I always am so amazed by. Like, because the music that I make is not just me exclusively. Obviously, the music that we as Raptivists, conscious, whatever you want to call us, the music that we make, it crosses genres and boundaries because it's about the message.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's going to have their preferences in terms of style of music, and that's subjective. Even MC, like, look, there's people who think I'm the best. Literally, I've had people say they think I'm the best MC ever. They think I'm currently the best MC. But then people think I'm not. People think I'm not even one of the best, and that's perfectly okay. That's subjective. But the message, the message is something that transcends subjectivity.
And that's where it's at with me, especially ever since Dennis started introducing me to this like the underground hip hop scene and artists like yourself and Ghost and all these guys. I want to hear a hip hop song with a message, and I got kids and they're in their 20s and stuff now, but as they're growing up, they're listening to that pop hip hop, and it's just my bitches and my gold and this, and it's like, I can't stand to hear another. No, give me Run DMC any day of the week, please. And I'm a smiling old man.
Well, that kind of segue.
But to hear you younger kids come out there, especially with a good positive message in your music, and it's catchy and it's good, it's musically talented. I mean, shit, you guys got it. You're hitting it on all 16 cylinders, man. Honky Tonk Man style. It's beautiful. I'm seriously glad.
We are living in a time where society defines what is fake is real and the truth is a lie. The government will punish you for stepping out of line, cause telling the truth's a felony, honesty is a crime. And this is how I feel, down with the fake, long live the real. Y'all know the deal, down with the fake, long live the real.
It's a tautologically and morally twisted topic to visit this. Living in fear of authority and imprisonment. It's making a profit off a poverty-stricken citizen with not a pot to piss in, and still it's common to witness it. It's got us gobbling off with nonsense and gibberish. Innocence and ignorance are not synonymous, idiot. Knowledge is infinite if we were properly listening and not constantly bickering over little shit. Contradicting conscious living, I'm a hypocrite. I opted to become a cog in the system which is cognitive dissonance. I wasn't positive, but since adopted this discipline, acknowledging as an optimist, my options were limitless. I've got initiative, so I couldn't give a shit if you think the world is flat or round or a pyramid. I can still flip it, swapping the top of it for the bottom and spin the bitch on my fingertip. Build the bricks for the real to
We are
live.
living in a time where society defines what is fake is real and the truth is a lie. The government will punish you for stepping out of line, cause telling the truth's a felony, honesty is a crime. And this is how I feel, down with the fake, long live the real. Y'all know the deal, down with the fake, long live the real. Society's conspiracy, they charging me with heresy. Terrorists what they call me, cause the truth is all they hear from me. Where did we learn that the way the world turns is by making fake money? That's the way the world burns. The dollar is a counterfeit, no matter the amount of it. Monopoly money, the Fed took the value out of it. Society is blinded by these tyrants in suits, turning fake into real and the lies into truth. Corporations ruin everything around me. Cringe, you asleep if you believe in the American dream. It's a nightmare, the government ain't hearing our screams. They silence some with violence and divide us at the seams. Wake up, it's time we bring back the realness. truth is a lie. The government will punish you for stepping out of line, cause telling the truth's a felony, honesty is a crime. And this is how I feel, down with the fake, long live the real. And y'all know the deal, down with the fake, long live the real. The spirit and diesel, we bringing death to the fake. We represent for the people with every breath that we take. We know that fear is a prison and bravery's a decision. So we sharing our vision and change the way that we live in.
Shaking the system, DNA were mainly made for the mission to break the tradition of slaves, trained to play the position. A frame of mind refraining from the place of a victim. I aim to say that we're winning instead of wake up and listen. Speaking the truth to separate it from the fake and the fiction. So I ain't gaining permission to claim an opinion. I'm able and willing with an educated brain and committed to creating a stable place to live in, making a difference.
The pages we flipping, we take to the stage and we ripping the microphone when we spitting the type of poems that you listen to. When they change the way you think, then you change the way you live. Yo, with spirit, let them hear it while we do it. We are living in a time where society defines what is fake is real and the truth is a lie. The government will punish you for stepping out of line, cause telling the truth's a felony, honesty is a crime. And this is how I feel, down with the fake, long live the real. And y'all know the deal, down with the fake, long live the real. Let's go, y'all. Get big on them.
Shout out to Beat City, because those beats, man, are just like incredible.
Yeah,
Some of
that's
the,
my brother. Beat City on the beat. That's the love, bro. I appreciate you shouting him out. I know he will, but I genuinely appreciate that because I love that dude, and he's made so many of you know, my, I guess, bigger songs, you could say, and they were inspired by his artistry, by his genius that he does with his production. So I appreciate it.
It's very unique. His again, like I said, what Lee was just talking about, it kind of segues into the next question I was going to ask you. But, you know, I'm a fan of hip-hop. Like, when I was growing up, there was a competition aspect to it. Just like you were saying, you know, people classify certain artists as the best. Now, mainstream hip-hop is one thing. And there is an underground hip-hop scene. But to me, there's two of them. There's the underground, and then there's, like, the underground. And that's where DISL and all these other artists are. Because it's unlike anything. Like, if you went into a store, say you guys were mainstream, yourself, for instance, if you went into like a CD, they don't even do this anymore, but if they were selling CDs or whatever they were selling of your music, you would be off in your own category. Like you wouldn't, it would be hip hop, but it would be a different category of hip hop. That's the way I look at it. It's like hip hop, but it's conscious. It's a bunch of different styles of conscious hip hop mixed into one. And also, like I said, that was the question I wanted to ask you. Is like when you were growing up, obviously in Chicago, that's another thing I put my mind before the show, but I know you're from there. But just like, what were you listening to when you were coming up that influenced you? You know, when you were coming up, like who were the artists that you were listening to that inspired you?
Man, I mean,
I know that's a rough question.
I'll be honest, I can't even front off that. It really started with Michael Jackson because, you know, I was about 2 years old and my pops, he had brought home a video of the making a Thriller, and I just was a little kid.
Man, I'm old.
I could watch that shit all day, and then just from there on, it was Michael Jackson. Really, I feel like my sense of rhythm, which is that's what rap is. You know what I'm saying? Like it's rhythm. So I feel like Michael Jackson really played an integral part in that. Now, later on, you know, it depends. You know, obviously there were different eras. So, but if you want to know, you know, the MCs that most
who's your favorite? Not your favorite, but like who did you have in your
influence?
Yeah.
Nas, Rakim, Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep. I know who else? Let's see. Jedi Mind Tricks on some underground shit back then. Because I was originally See, man, I can't just be. That's the problem with me. I can't answer questions without. Because you know, I started off heavy in the underground scene. You know, I had a group back in the day, and we recorded our first professional EP when I was 17. You know what I'm saying? In high school, still senior year of high school. We started off. Our first show was a block party in the hood. We was out there, and we was underground, and back then, underground was like, everybody was on some battle, Nine Tricks, Non-Fiction, Next Row, Cage. It was all some some I'll fucking rip your head off and you know, some battle, but some gruesome battle type of shit. Like it was kind of like it was inspired, that style of rap, that era and underground. It was inspired by like Gravediggers and Wu-Tang, and like because Wu-Tang, even they had that skit back in the days on their album Torture, where they would just come up with crazy things like I'll fucking I'll sew your mouth, I'll sew your asshole shut and keep feeding you. And that's where that era was.
And as we all know, kids. You know, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with.
Familiar with, because Lee, I know you're not really into hip hop, but Dennis, you probably familiar with.
I remember. Right? Yeah, I'm
so like,
Benny Paz. You know, I'm familiar with all this stuff. Paz, Allah, those were the MCs, and Stoop was the producer, and they was the biggest thing back in the day. But anyway, I started off in the underground, so you know, I had a lot of influences in the underground as well. So like Jedi Mind Tricks, Nonfiction, Necro, Army of the Pharaohs, Cannabis. Oh, that was when that guy came around. I was in high school because you know I'm born in '81, fam. So I came up, you know, in what people refer to as the golden era of hip hop and rap music, and I was really in it, like in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, look, check it out, man. Check it out. I was born in '82, so I was right there with you. So I understand,
bro. Like I came up rapping like. You have to be able to freestyle off the top and battle. You could not call yourself a fucking MC if you wasn't ready to hop in a cipher, freestyle off the top of the dome, and battle some cats.
You better you better be able to flow. You know, that flow better be good.
It's got to be all around. And this was a time for me on some personal shit where. There was no Eminem yet. There were no white rappers. Were still very irregular. It was still a very uncommon, unheard of thing.
Unless it was the Beastie Boys.
Like, but Beastie Boys, nobody really viewed them like that. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in middle school and high school, like really, especially high school, in the thick of developing and just battling, freestyle, ciphering every day. All I did was rhyme, do graffiti, breakdance. You know what I'm saying? Every aspect of hip hop culture, just living it to the fullest. Like nobody wasn't thinking about no Beastie Boys. You know, it was, it was, and even that was such a rarity. So they were around, but it was a rarity. And where I was at. It was in high school, it was me and one other white dude that actually rapped. So, you know what I'm saying? I had to, as a white MC back then too, trust me, I had to prove myself even more than others. Because everywhere I went, right away, everybody was like, white boy, what you trying, you trying to rap, white boy, da-da-da. So, but I promise you, you know, and there's plenty of people that would vouch for it. They grew up with me. I mean, sis, obviously, she's seen it live and in person, and many other cats. But it's never been I never got into a freestyle cipher or a battle where afterwards the same cats who was hating and saying this and that weren't fucking dapping me up and giving me big props.
Yeah.
Every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I've been in battles.
Well, you know that.
Fights.
Yeah,
I shed blood, sweat, and tears over this hip hop shit.
That's the stuff that comes through in your music, though. You know, the dedication that comes through in your music shows that your dedication has been there for a while. And it's no doubt that if you got into those types of battles and stuff with other people, you know, they're going to be hating on you to begin with, and all white boy this and that. And trust me, as a white boy growing up selling drugs in the hood, I heard that a lot. Okay. But you white boy this and that, you know, you white boy you can't do this, white boy you can't do that. But taste what I got here. You know, get a little sample of what the chef be serving. The next thing you know, they're patting you on the back like, dude, all right, we're sorry. Ain't trying to talk shit about you no more. You know what you got going. You're doing good. And so you got that going in your music and that type of, you know, dedication, and as a musician myself, you know, what in the fuck is that keeps beeping? Fuck's sakes, it's gonna drive me nuts. No, that dedication and effort that you've got to put into something like that to be able to sharpen that skill so much. I'm gonna fucking shoot somebody. I swear to Christ. This. Where's my pistol? This.
Yeah.
No, it really comes through. It's something that takes a lot of effort and a lot of hard work, man. And I, as a musician, even coming at it, looking at it from a musician standpoint towards a hip hop standpoint, dude, your voice is also a musical tool, and being able to put that and your mind at the same level and put it on the same spiritual, dude, that's a rarity in this world, and you got it, son. You do.
I wanted to point out too. I know a while ago. I don't know, maybe last year, the year before, you were doing a series of, the big bars. It was like 1 through whatever you did. And you would just put on a beat and just look at the camera and just do that. And people don't understand how difficult that is. I couldn't do that. I mean, it would take me some time,
You're talking about Off the Top Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was it was series like where I would just go off the top of the freestyling, yeah?
Yeah. It was like big bars, episode or whatever. Yeah. And that takes a lot of you know what I'm saying? I whenever I used to do, it ain't about me, it's about you, we're interviewing you, but when I was growing up, I used to work on beats, or I would work on beats, or I would make I would work with other artists and stuff when I was coming up. So whenever people be like, yo, can you freestyle or whatever? And I'm like, I don't know, give me a pen and a piece of paper, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I can come up with something. But coming off the top like that, I couldn't really do that.
No, that segues into a good question here. Your songwriting is so intricate, and well developed and well vocalized, man. What's your songwriting process like? I mean, how does DISL Automatic sit down and put together a song, man?
All right. Well, let me first just say something to what Dennis was saying, because it's an important topic to me, freestyling off the top of the dome, because it's a very underappreciated sub-element of the culture. It's a practically forgotten and lost art, and a very integral part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was doing with Off the Top Tuesday, trying to reintroduce it, and I'll be bringing that back as well. I'll always be doing, that's when I do live shows, whatever I do, there's always going to be some element of off the top freestyling. I came in the game. My first video, for those who remember, my first video on Global Faction before Freeway was the Off the Top freestyle. If anybody remembers that, that was my introduction. So, it's something that I feel passionately about, something that, to me is the foundation and the essence of me as an MC. Like, that's what it was all about for us back in the days. Yeah, we used to write rhymes, but like I said, until my senior year was when we actually went to the studio and laid shit down. The only shit, because in high school we had crews. My high school was big, and I was in one crew, a big crew, and there was a rival crew. So the only thing I recorded ever, we did a little diss track to the rival crew, but just on a cassette tape at this DJ's. It was actually their DJ. We stole their DJ to make a diss track to them. But anyway, that's a whole different story. So, it was all about freestyling, man. It was all about off the top of the dome. That's how you had to show and prove. That's how you had to earn your stripe, earn the title of MC locally around your way, within the culture in your area. And because there wasn't no internet, it wasn't no social media. You couldn't just put out a song and all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're hip hop. Hold on, what the fuck makes you hip hop? Just because you rap doesn't mean you hip hop. That's. I just posted something today. Like, it's something I often say. All that glitters isn't gold. Just as all that raps isn't hip hop. You really have to earn your stripes. Like, and that's something that I take seriously. So, the freestyling for me, honestly, like that shit you saw on YouTube, that was decent, considering that I hadn't even freestyled off the top for years prior to even filming those. But back in my heyday, when I freestyled all day, every day, when like that's all we did was freestyle and cipher, and that's all that mattered to me. Like, man, I'll tell you, I could tell you stories and stories, but an example is I was at a party one time, and the party was packed, music was playing. We come in there, it's a crew of us, not many of us, but I was with my cousin, and my cousin was like my hype man. He always wanted me to rap. He always wanted me to freestyle because, it was always an attraction, and in particular, the ladies took quite fondly to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but so at this particular party, he's like, come on, fam, go ahead, bust a freestyle. And I'm like, all right, bet, but you kick it off. And that was always our routine. He would always tell me to freestyle. I'd say, all right, but you got to set me off. He didn't really rap like that, but he would just spit some bars. And I would always he would end with a word like, whatever, vodka. And I would just come in off of that word and start boom, boom, freestyling. Mm-hmm. And at this party, the music is playing, it's rap music playing, and I'm just going over the beat, even though it's not an instrumental. It's got someone is singing over it, but I'm just rapping, boom, boom. It's a circle of us, But the party's packed, and I'm freestyling, doom, doom, doom. And I zone out. Like, I used to just black out. I just go in a zone where I wouldn't even really realize what's going on around me. I'm just so deep in the zone of freestyling. Like, I freestyle for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, no problem. Nice. And this particular time, I'm freestyling, the beat changes, songs are changing, maybe like 3 songs change. So that's damn near 15 minutes of me just freestyling. Mm-hmm. And finally, the music stopped because it was a CD. This was back in the days. We didn't have AUX cords and all of that shit. So the CD stopped. And I keep going a cappella, but finally I finish, and I got my eyes closed. Like, I would just close my eyes most of the time and just fucking zone out. I opened my eyes, and the whole fucking place had stopped and was listening, and they all gave me a standing ovation. Mm-hmm. The whole party, like 100 people that I didn't even know, and they weren't even paying attention when I first started freestyling. But I was going so hard in that everybody told everybody, and this whole fucking house party just gave me a roaring applause.
That's tight.
Like, that's the kind of styles I used to spit, bro.
Let's go, y'all. Get big on them. Let's go, y'all. Get big on them.
That's tight.
I battled the dude where it was me and my boy, him and his boy, because my guy had beef with him. I didn't even know the dude, but my guy was like, come on, what's up? And yeah, because my guy was white too. This was at college, matter of fact. And it was 2 black dudes, and they're like, oh, white boys, da-da-da, which, I get it. I'm not, it doesn't have to be a racial thing, but that particular thing played into the dynamic of that situation. You know what I'm saying? Like,
unfortunately,
that much more.
Yeah, unfortunately, it does. Yeah, unfortunately, it does so many more times, man. On both aspects, dude.
So my guy, I gave him the name Fathom. He went by Fathom back then. I gave him that name. So he's like, all right, come on. You know what I'm saying? I'll go first, then your guy goes, then you go, then my guy goes. So boom, boom, boom. I was going, and then the other guy was supposed to go last. But basically, I end up ripping it for like 10 minutes straight. And the main dude who was talking shit, who my guy had beef with, he didn't even want to rap after me. He did not. I finished my verse, and he just looked at me, and he was like, damn, bro. And he gave me dap. He didn't even rap after me. That's the type of shit I used to do, bro.
Yeah. I'm not even bullshitting. Like I said, when I first came across your music, I was just like drawn into it because I was like, wow. It's the same thing with Steve or most of these other artists, even Elias Clay. Like, her music, it just captivated me. It pulled me in. I was like, damn, who is this? So I've had her on the show and interviewed her and everything and try to pick her, just like we do with anybody that comes on. You try to pick their brain and see what drives them and stuff. And like I said, your music, I was just captivated. I was pulled into it. And it's amazing that you created a brand almost, you know what I'm saying? It is a thing that you can market from. But I don't think you did it for that. You did it for like the fam, to get big fam. And those people are amazing people that I've met that connected through your music. There's some people that I'm friends with, that we're mutual friends with, that to them, your music is the greatest music that they've ever heard in their lives. And I feel the same way too. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? You created something that was bigger than what you were putting out. And it doesn't matter, you know, I haven't heard a bad song from you. I haven't heard anything come from you where I'm like, nah, that shit's whack. Diesel need to put that back. You need to go work on that, because every time I hear your music, it's just like a grenade's going off. It's just like boom, and you just have that energy. And then, like I said, you created this whole other atmosphere outside of it. And then, you know, to see like you and Steve and PTP work together, you know, those things are like monumental to me, because the song that you know, Payday and Steve and PTP put together, you know, I was waiting for that song. And Lee knows I pitched that idea a long time ago when I met Steve. Same thing with you. I'm sure we went back and forth a couple times about stuff like that, but I was pitching ideas about how could these artists work together. You know, Elias Clay and Steve Grant, they always have a good chemistry when they work. PTP, like I said, it's just different flavors that you can all get on. It almost is like a group, you know what I'm saying? Like not a Wu-Tang Clan or something like that, but just a collective of just very, very good artists and very passionate people that take this shit very seriously. So
I've obviously found a lot of those collaborations that you've done with them, with a lot of these people that Dennis just mentioned, quite impressive. And you know, to be quite honest, I gotta ask you, you know, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot out there, but you know, was there one collaboration that stuck out with you that you was like, you know, damn, we nailed it on everything there, man. Every beat, every lick, you know, everything was right there. Is there one that sticks out to you?
That's a tough question, just because I've done so many. So even anything that sticks out in my mind now, which I'll give you an answer, but if it sticks out in my mind now, doesn't necessarily mean it's my favorite. Just because I would have to genuinely listen to. You know what I'm saying? I've done so many collabs with so many dope MCs, and they've all been so dope that it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I know Fresh Air with a Spirit, that's definitely, that one popped out to me. I don't know, it just was.
Which is
that. It was just,
yeah, I just want to point this out. That song right there focuses on the mainstream music industry, and that shit is mind-blowing to me as well. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just bashing. Yeah, you are bashing them, but you're just telling the truth about what the mainstream music industry is. So that, yeah, you just reminded me. That's a song I got to pull back out. Also, real quick, when I knew about K Reno before all this came together, but then I was going through your music and I was like, what? Diesel got a song with K Reno? I was like, damn, that's crazy. And that shit, I couldn't believe that when I found that. I was like, damn. I was like, man.
That's the one that is like, you know, K Reno's a legend. So, but we didn't work on the track together. You know what I'm saying? I did my shit. He just laid down his 16, which obviously that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? I don't know the man. I don't, you know, it's just, we linked up like that. So, the chemistry, you know what I'm saying? Like with a Spirit on that track, we talked about it. We collaborated on the effort. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole different dynamic when you actually collaborate with someone as opposed to when they just lay down a verse.
And the songs with your sister, man. You know, send the sis.
Reno, you know? Is, I gotta say, for those who don't know about K Reno, they gotta check him out, because, you know, I'm all about giving props where props is due, man. And like, that man has been doing what I do on the same level, if not greater, for 20 plus years. He's a legend, not just in a conscious rap community, in hip hop period, and rap period. You know, I've seen interviews where Scarface talks about, you know, the big legends, the mainstream legends, so Bun B from UGK, where they give anyone from Houston, anyone from out that way, they know K Reno, and people should know worldwide, because that man is. In this conscious game, he is the GOAT. You got to give it to K Reno. He's been doing it the longest, the most consistent, you know, spitting that real shit. You know, like a lot of cats been doing this. You could say KRS-One, but not like K Reno though. So K Reno is definitely, I think,
speaking of him,
underrated.
Dennis did introduce me to K Reno, and that statement about the KRS-One, dude. I gotta agree with you. I've loved KRS-One for years, but K Reno's on a whole different level, dude. He's
speaking of K Reno,
pretty fucking awesome.
Connected with him. Yeah, I reconnected with him recently through Facebook or whatever it was. But I used to send him emails. He was on my show once before, and I was trying to set it up again. But either way, just to mention him, not to plug any of his shit or whatever, but he's got an album coming out at the end of this month, and that's probably close to like 30 albums. And all his albums, you know what I'm saying, are just over the years, he's actually gotten better, in my opinion. I think he is a very, very talented artist. And when I had him on the show, you know what I'm saying, it was a good conversation to talk to him and just, like I said, try to pick his brain and see what influences him. And he told me, he was like, I write a lot. He's, you know, got notebooks and all this other stuff. But like I said, he's about to drop another album. Not to mention, I think it was last year, he dropped 7 albums in like a week, and he holds the Guinness book, Guinness World Record for that. No other artist has ever done that. So that's incredible.
Yeah, you know who he beat for that?
The wizard, man. You can't. That's why I don't care. You know, I don't mind taking up some of my interview time to let that man have his shine because he deserves it. And I don't, you know, listen, man. I'm just the kind of dude who, you know, people don't really know me. You know, like they a lot of people, they think they know you off social media and music and whatever. But like, man, I love when real shit prevails. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about hyping myself up, and I oftentimes I'd rather give that man the credit because he deserves more credit than me anyway. Like, there has to be, with you, talked about though, there has to be some, you know, there has to be some order of you know, appreciating the OGs and the people who paved the way, and that's a big part of what's lost in hip hop and why these young cats, but it's the older cats' fault too. See, now it's my responsibility as that middle, because I'm not that old, but I'm older than these young cats. So now it's my responsibility to kind of be gatekeeper and lead by example and show, look, I respect the OGs, and hopefully cats, you know, will respect what I have to say, because we need the hip hop, the older cats, the elder statesmen in hip hop. They sat back because it was in their interest. Let's be real. Listen, man, I've heard plenty of rappers, mainstream dudes, in interviews. They didn't even realize they were saying it, but I peep game. I see everything. I study the game. I see everything. And I see where they say shit like, yeah, I didn't really want to do that, but yeah, the money was good. And basically, these cats are saying that they sold out because they essentially sat back and didn't want to burn bridges. I recently seen an interview with Mos Def. He straight up said, and this was an interview from 1997, where he said straight up, he's like, man, but you know, some whack shit comes out and like you wanna say, nah, that's whack, but you can't because you know you'll burn bridges and you essentially have a gag order on you in the industry. Because if you step on the wrong feet, on the wrong toes, you're not gonna eat. You're not gonna make no fucking money. You know what I'm saying? So the whole game is compromised because these cats who should have been the gatekeepers when hip hop got overtaken by corporate America, when they realized, oh, this shit is lucrative, and they started paying big fat checks and giving advances to these artists and suckering them into bullshit deals, giving them $50,000 up front, and they go and blow it on jewelry and shit and get a car and then have a little money for their album and got to recoup and pay the record label back, and they only making fucking 5% of royalties off their album sales. You know, they're not even making no money. But nonetheless, the whole shit became corporatized. And these rappers, the ones at that time who should have been stepping up and saying, nah, hold on. When cats like fucking Nelly came into the game. You know, everybody wants to talk now about Little Yachty and Little Boozy and whatever these fucking rappers' names are.
Little something or that.
Where were all these older cats who where were they when T-Pain and Lil Wayne were fucking running shit? Because let's be real, T-Pain and Lil Wayne, they birthed all of these little mumble rappers now. Straight up, bro. And where were these cats? Did anyone say anything to Lil Wayne or T-Pain? Nah. You know why? Because they knew that's where the money was, and they didn't want to burn those bridges. And we could go back to Nelly, go back further than that. And some cats tried. KRS-One, referring back to the teacher. He called Nelly out. But you know what happened in hip hop, my brother? What happened in hip hop is that money became too influential in the culture, which it never was. Yeah, being fly and flashy, that was always part of hip hop culture. But it was always about keeping it real and not selling out and not just doing shit just for money. So what happened though is that the money became way too big, and even if you got, and it became, money became, your financial status became your hip hop stripe as opposed to having to earn them. Because when people called you out, like KRS-One tried to call out Nelly, or when anybody tried to call anybody else out, all they had to say is, yeah, but I got money, and you're just hating because I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
And that is all it took to silence anybody who tries to say you're whack, you're fake, you're not real.
You're right.
Now you got a whole. Where were these rappers with Rick Ross? Dennis, I know you know about the real Rick Ross. Yeah. Me, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure you're familiar too.
Oh yeah.
Where were these
real
cats?
Freeway?
The rapper Rick Ross stole Freeway Rick Ross, a revolutionary now, a man who was a pawn in the CIA drug smuggling, did hard time because of it, and came out, learned his lesson, learned what the government does, what it means to sell drugs, what you're doing to your own communities, your own people. And takes a stand against it and is a revolutionary. And this fucking rapper, whose name is not Rick Ross, takes his name, his image, his likeness, and his stories too. Rick Ross, okay, he was a correctional officer, so what? He could have still been dirty. Listen, let's be real. I've been in the streets. I know what's up. I know cats could be a correctional officer, but still be dirty. Correctional officers are dirty as fuck. I just seen a thing. There's a guy who wrote a book, a Rikers Island correctional officer. He spilled the beans, talked about all the fucked up shit.
Yeah. I can't tell you who.
The rapper Rick Ross. He may have been in the streets. He may have been whatever, but he was not the real Rick Ross. He was not moving hundreds of keys of cocaine as he claimed to be in his rap. Those are the real Freeway Rick Ross's stories. So this guy did the number one, back in the days, the cardinal sin in hip hop was to come with some fake, unoriginal shit. You biting, you posing, faking. And you know what? You know what Cats did instead of calling Rick Ross out on that shit? They signed him. Jay-Z signed him. They co-signed him.
Work with him.
Nas, one of my childhood idols. You gonna co-sign this man? What are they doing? What are these rappers, y'all for the culture? Y'all for the culture? What are they doing for the real Freeway Rick Ross? What are they doing for him?
They ain't.
Talk about that.
They ain't trying to.
These are automatic. Forget the nonsense, y'all. It's time we bring back the realness. About to do it like this, yo. This that real hip hop coming straight out the basement. Rappers acting like they second, but they can't get complacent. Designer fashion is the only way they making a statement. Cause they faker than that motherfucking paper they chasing. Fiat money ain't worth that green paper that is printed on. Inflation will decrease it until every single cent is gone. Fuck them dead presidents, these rappers talking Benjamins. I'm talking revolution, so I'm on my time as Jefferson. Yes, I am from Evanston, I rep it to the fullest. For protection from these tyrants, got a weapon full of bullets. I suggest you do the same as me. These politicians say we free, but illusion of freedom is the strongest form of slavery. The highest form of flattery is rappers trying to battle me. I take it as a compliment while counting up the casualties. I proceed gradually all the way to the top of this. I hope that I can make it before the dawn of apocalypse. Government officials ain't running the public office. The money from their policies come from company lobbyists. My views are competent, so I vocalize them with confidence. Use your knowledge if you just open your eyes, it's obvious. The media is a way to control the mind of the audience. No posse comitatus, they mobilizing the army in their own land. Yes, they are socializing the continent. What they conglomerate, they are globalizing their dominance. And it's already begun. If we don't start the revolution, it'll never be done. I suggest you invest and go to get you a gun, or you go wait for resurrection of the heavenly son. Me, I'd rather take matters inside of my own hands. Responsibility is a sign of a grown man. And these dudes is kids, I disagree with their views and how they choose to live. All these rappers only talk about money and how they hold weight. Popping bottles, fucking with models and how they so great. Yes, I realize that their mind is in a confused state. All my people, we need to wake up before it's too late. Booyaka, for weak MCs, this is a coup de grace. Who do y'all think you're dealing with? No, I ain't new to the rap game. Last name automatic, first name DISL. Power to the people. Power
I could go on all day about this shit, bro, because it pisses me off, man, when I see these fakes and these phonies and these cats who, I don't know their motive, and I don't judge them as individuals. I don't know what's going on in their lives, why they do what they do. But I know objectively that I can say that they are fake and that they have sold out. By definition, that is an objective statement.
That stretches across.
Everybody wants to feel about that. That's not my problem.
That stretches across every genre of music.
Saying, oh, they're fucking horrible human beings. They should die. I don't know. I know a lot of them come from the ghetto. They come from poverty. I get it. That's why I don't blame these young dudes. I don't blame the young guys. I'm happy for them. They found a way out of the ghetto. They don't know any better. They know no better. I can't blame them because I've been to the south side of Chicago. I know what it's like. Like, I grew up on the north side, and it's not, we had gangs, we had hoods, all of that, but not like on the south side of Chicago. When you go to the south side of Chicago, the west side of Chicago, that's a whole different fucking category. And cats who come from these young dudes who come from those neighborhoods, from those type of environments, and they're just trying to make it out by using rap, bless them. I encourage them because you know what? At least maybe now they'll have an opportunity to change. They'll get out of the ghetto, and maybe then they could mature and realize that what they're doing is wrong. See, these cats who blast them and who want to, these older cats, these quote-unquote OGs, yet they want to take shots at these young dudes, shame on them, because I would just want to sit down with them and because I care about them, and I'm happy that they're out of the ghetto. And I would try to just kick game to them, like, look, this is what it is. The next man's not your rival. That's not that guy down the street just because he claims a different gang. That's not your enemy. Your enemy's the government.
Look what's going on.
Your enemy's the government, bro.
Look at what's been going on in Chicago the last since I've been keeping track of it. I try to let people know about it. They're not gonna. It's just something that's going on. But look at what's going on in Chicago, man. It's just like a war zone out there. Like every week, 10 people get killed.
So I can't. I can't blame those kids.
Exactly.
They want to find a way out, and I'm happy they found a way out because now they stand a chance. Because when you stuck in the ghetto, especially as a young man, it's death or prison. Chances are.
Yeah.
So but it's these older cats. It's these older cats that I know. They've been out of the ghetto. They have multi millions. Some of them hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars.
And then they forget, about where they're coming from and what's going to come up at next. How are these kids going to make it? And a lot of underground, new hip hop, not underground, not mainstream hip hop, and mainstream across the board in every genre of music, man. And from country to rock to metal to all of it. It's just garbage nowadays.
They still give out Grammys. Can you imagine that?
Why I don't understand. I mean, it's few and far between that I hear good things.
Grammys don't mean shit anyway.
Like, never have.
Yeah, they don't. I'm just saying.
I mean, look, for other genres of music, and I don't know. For me as a hip hop head, I'm tired of hip hop culture and rappers seeking validation from stupid mainstream bullshit like the Grammy. Or fuck the Grammy. Why?
Yes.
Since when did anyone in hip hop culture, real MCs, care about winning a fucking Grammy?
Yep.
Fuck a Grammy.
Right.
They talk, Jay-Z got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What the fuck are y'all happy about? Oh, because that's the main... make a hip hop Hall of Fame. Get inducted to that and congratulations. A rock and roll? Yeah. What do you need validation from rock and roll for? This is fucking hip hop.
Yeah.
We need to stop, but that's everything though. That's the same, the same mentality of that is us needing to seek validation from the system, from societal norms, whatever it is. Whenever we look to, I got this award, or I have this achievement, or this accomplishment, I got this much money, I have this car, I have that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's it's futile ultimately because it doesn't mean anything, and it's detrimental to us.
I'm trying to let you finish before I start chewing.
Like I, you know, me, my validation for what I do is just cats like you, the things you said earlier, people who just tell me, look, because it's not even, I'm not out here trying to be like, a revolutionary hero, like I'm just going to be Superman and change the world. You know, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm not a mind reader. I could share my theories and all of that, but we're not going to get into all of that. But what I do know is that my music, my efforts, social media, whatever it is that I do, it impacts people on a daily basis, real people that reach out to me and tell me, hey, your music has done this and this and this for me. Anything, just it makes them happy. It helps them through their day. It gets them hyped up, gets them pumped to work out, whatever it is. That, to me, right now, at this point in my life, is what matters the most, because I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I can't attach my validation to anything aside from I know that I'm having a positive impact on people on a daily basis, on a lot of people. And that's
on a lot of levels, too.
What it's all, what it's all about, you know?
Yeah, that song you have, It Ain't Over Till It's Over or whatever, like I was going through some rough shit at the time when you dropped that, and I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like you put everything in a capsule of like what I was dealing with. And that shit, you know, it definitely helps people. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak for everybody, but like I was saying earlier, you know, Lee's not going to play your shit, especially hip hop, if it's not.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hang on. Don't you even pretend to speak for me, man. I got the whole mixtape on the work flash drive, man. That shit happens. All right, sorry.
If it's good, he's not gonna play it. But it has to be.
No, I know what you were trying to say. Yeah.
It captivated him too. You know what I'm
fucking
saying?
me up here.
He doesn't even listen to rap.
It's just so good. It pulled him in.
No, I don't listen to rap. I listen to Diesel Automatic. I listen to Payday Monsanto. I listen to Steve Grant. I listen to I listen to like old NWA and
rappers, those are MCs.
Yeah, I listen to like old NWA and shit.
Definitely got good taste, brother.
But hey, I just like music. I'm a student of music. And when it comes across good, and especially, with the message that we've always been trying to put across on this show and the thousands of shows that I've done across numerous networks, man, is to, push the truth and push a positive message and get people out there thinking. And when you guys are doing that and putting good music with it, shit, you got me hook, line, and sinker. And you should have everybody else out there, anybody that's got a conscious mind, anybody that wants to be just a little bit better tomorrow than they are today. Shit, check out Diesel, check out Steve, check out all these guys, man.
We touched on this briefly earlier, but global faction, the whole YouTube thing that you were doing was very unique in itself because
those are some good ass videos.
Yeah, a lot of these artists, it's new. I mean, they want to do music videos, but they may not have the production or the abilities to do it. So it was crazy for me because you were putting out videos, and then I could go to YouTube and I could pull it up and I could see you, doing a video, and it was just like it was groundbreaking for me when I started noticing what you were doing.
And let me say, the background in those videos, was incredible.
Big up Global Faction. Everybody go check them out. But I kind of I made that happen. You know what I'm saying? Because when I first got on the scene, I just did my own shit. Just put music out. It was Power to the People. The song originally was like the main one that I used to promote, and that was back when YouTube was like a social network, not how it is now. Like that was when you get crazy on YouTube and send people messages directly, and you could in the message you could just attach any one of your videos. I don't know if y'all remember that, but that was the glory days of YouTube in terms of promoting your shit. So I just would promote, and I found out about Global Faction just randomly, truthfully. Well, no, my guy put me on to Low Key and Akala, and then I saw Global Faction from them, and I was like, damn, this is what I'm doing, and these cats are a big platform and doing dope shit. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna fucking work with these cats. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm glad. I'm sure they're glad they found
you because you know. Yo, I made it happen. I was like, I'm gonna find a way to work with these cats. Dave was in the UK. I'm over here in Montenegro. They've never heard of me. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I know I can't go over there. So I'm just thinking, how am I gonna make this shit happen? Boom! I'm putting dough aside. You know, I'm thinking like, man, if I gotta pay for airfare out here, boom, whatever. I did whatever I had to do to, you know what I'm saying, to make this shit happen. Because ultimately, the main dude who runs Global Faction, he flew out here, and he stayed with me, and that's when we did all of those videos for the first mixtape. But the way that it even got to that was because I used to go, well, I would go onto their videos on Global Faction to promote my shit. So I would go in the comment section, and basically I would spam, but not in the comment section. I would go and I would find people leaving good comments, leaving good feedback, you know, saying like, yeah, I love this kind of music, you know, the revolutionary shit, yada, yada. And I would just click on them, and then I would send them a private message saying like, yo, I see you like, you know, conscious revolutionary music. Check out my song, Power to the People. And, you know, and my shit started to gain traction a little bit like that. And then I would, every once in a while, I would drop a comment on Global Faction's page like, yo, y'all should come check out my song when you get a chance. And then finally, one day, I get a comment on the Power to the People, and it's Global Faction, and they just commented epic. And then after that, I was like, yeah, I got them. You know, I got their attention. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just going to make it happen. And slowly but surely, hit them up, built a relationship with dude. He loved the music I had that I sent him. He was all about it. Like, I mean, Global Faction and Abdul, my brother over there, you know, that's like my big bro. Like, he definitely, you know, he went, because he really believed in my shit. You know, it still does. Still shows a lot of love. But you know, he really believed in my shit and gave me a good, you know, good solid hand when it came.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was blown away.
The CGI, like he after mine, he didn't do any more videos like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't do those kind of videos for many people at all. You know what I mean? And the fact that it was my first video ever was one of, you know, Illuminati and Freeway are some of his best, you know what I'm saying, like, work because of the CGI and all the detail that he puts into them shit. So
Illuminati's awesome.
Crazy. So the fact that he would do those type of videos for me and just show me that much love and help give me that much of a kind of jump start with everything was just was something that, you know, that's why, bro, I went on and, you know, I mean, that's the thing, like, I just wanted to do a video on the channel, and now I have some of the most, I'm one of the artists with, you know, the most videos. I think maybe there's only 3 or 4 artists that maybe have more videos and more views than me. Akala, Low Key, Logic, I believe those are the only 3 that have, you know, more views
and Low Key
on the videos on Global Faction. So, you know, and I made the theme song. Resist Global Fiction. That's basically the Global Faction anthem right there. So, you know, that's why I did it though, because they just show me so much love, man, and I'll always rep Global Faction. That's my fam.
Well, they're great videos. The backgrounds on those videos are just, you know, breathtaking up there in the mountains, and some of the other shots that you guys got, you know, from a videographer standpoint. It's really impressive, you know. And there's a reason why there's so many views on those videos, and there should be so many more, ladies and gentlemen. When we go live with this interview and put this up there for you guys the night of the show, we're going to make sure that we're including all sorts of links to all these videos and all these songs that we're talking about here tonight. This is about the only time that you're going to hear us pre-record an interview. We usually do the show live and unscripted, but yeah, it's nice to do it pre-recorded and unscripted with one of the greatest artists in this time, man. You know, your body of work, like I've referenced so many times before, is so impressive, and you've got you know, the websites out there where, ladies and gentlemen, and I do have a bone to pick with you, because I tried to order T-shirts this morning, and they told me that my zip code was invalid.
Let's go, y'all. Get big on them. Let's go, y'all. Get big on them.
You know what? That's the way that I do the merchandise is through Redbubble. I don't honestly. I have nothing to do with that. You got to contact Redbubble, because the merchandise. My thing with merchandise is my main thing was that I wanted it to be sweatshop free. You know, I wanted to ethical, so it's made in the USA. It's sweatshop free, and it's completely run. It's, you know, they take the orders, they ship it out. Basically, I just end up getting a percentage of from the sales, so I don't really have anything to do with it, because, you know, I'm over here where I'm at, and I'd probably end up losing money if I had to ship it all out on my own. And the only other option would also to be, you know, to use some like made in China shirts or whatever. But these are, you know, those are all options that obviously, you know, I'm sure y'all.
Well, I mean, the price on it,
that approach. So
the price on the shirt is right.
I hope there's not people out there who, you know, may have got a messed up order or something from Redbubble and think it's my fault. I hope that's not the case, because I have nothing.
No, I got a shirt last year and everything was cool.
I'd probably put a disclaimer somewhere, like on my site or something about that, because I don't have anything to do with it.
No, I've got to contact Redbubble about it. I just, you know, I went to enter in all my information.
I'm sorry.
Well, it asks you when you order. It asks you when you order, you know, to put in your zip code, and then it'll bring up your city and state on its own. And so, you know, I put in my zip code. It brought up my city and state on its own. I thought everything was fine, and then when I went to, all right, pay for it, then it's like, no, your zip code is invalid. And wait a minute, dude, I've got like 16 other things going on right here.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to contact them and get with them, because I'm definitely getting some getting some of those shirts. I had to get one for me and at least one for my girl as well, you know, so.
Hey, I wanted to point out something that a lot of people don't really know about, unless you were in the Get Big fam. I mentioned it to a few people in that, but Freeway Ricky Ross had a Facebook page where he was trying to find upcoming artists, and he was starting a record label pretty much. I think he still has it to this day. So one day I was like, okay, well, Diesel has a song called Freeway, which kind of is about Freeway, you know. So I sent it to him in an email. I don't know if I was directly talking to him or somebody that works with him, but out of the thousands of songs that they got, they latched on to that one. And they were like, yeah, remember Diesel, I sent you the message and everything. But that was crazy. That was like insane, because they had got thousands and thousands of entries, and handpicked that particular song and sent me an email back and were like, yo, we're interested in working with him or talking to him. So I sent it straight to Diesel, and, you know, you told me what you told me, and I respect that. You know what I mean? I understand that you want to stay having control.
To do like a distribution type of thing for me.
Right.
But I would have had to, it would have had to been exclusive. I would have had to, you know what I'm saying, make like tracks exclusively that only they can distribute and put out, and I was just like, man, I'm at that point too. I'm like, still like now, I put all my shit out for free, even if it's on iTunes, even if it's, you know what I'm saying, I'll put it out there for sale. But every project I've done thus far is also available for free on my website, and you could donate it.
Yeah, I just want to give people I just wanted to fill people in case they never heard about that or anything like that. Because for me, I was just out of the blue. I was just like, well, maybe they'll hit on this, maybe they won't. But it was like 2 days later, they sent me an email right back. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, no, that was love. That was definitely that was love of you, man. And it was cool. You know, it was cool that they even hit me, that they, you know, offered me that or whatever whatever it was. But
yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. I respect that.
Do my own thing, you know. I'm not, you know, it's cool. Like if look, money is needed. We all live in the world. Money is needed to do what I do. If I could make some money off of it, awesome. That's amazing. Whatever it is, you know, because it's the honest. You know, it's no different. We look, money, yes, it's fiat. What it essentially does, in essence, isn't positive. It's contributing to the system, yes, but in essence, it's an exchange of certain values, whether it's goods, services that we provide. It's just supposed to be a representation. It's been hijacked. It's been turned into something else. But nonetheless, we all live in society. None of us are off the grid. You know, we got to be realistic about things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
tell me about it.
So ultimately, any of us who are still on the grid, living on the grid, ideally, the best way is to, because you need to make money. So ideally, the best way would be by doing something positive, doing something that adds value, using the system, because we're all using it anyway, to go against the system and getting paid for it. That's, you know, a lot of people, they want to criticize, you know, activists, anybody who's trying to somehow make an honest living or honest dollar or whatever it is off of what they do. Meanwhile, you know, I would pose the question, how do you live? Where do you earn your living? Because if you're not off the grid and not using money at all, chances are you're probably working for a corporation that's far worse than, you know, that, and what you do, chances are probably contributes even more than me just making money off of something honest and genuine and hard work and something that I poured my soul into, my heart into. You know, I mean, it's like I would ask, I'll ask people, like, would you rather I worked at a bank? Would you rather I worked at McDonald's? How would you have me make my money? Do you want to support me? I mean, I'd love to be off the grid completely. Off the grid, have everything, and, you know, not even have to, ideally, I could just put my music out for free. Put it out all for free, never want to make a cent off of it or off of merchandise or anything. But that's not the fucking world we live in. That's not the world I live in. So, you know, and one day I hope my goal is to get off the grid and, you know, all of that good stuff eventually. But for the time being, you know, we all gotta live. We all gotta get by somehow. So, you know.
Well, that's just the way the world is working at this point in time, man. I mean, I got as close to getting off the grid as maybe one can get. You know, I dropped all address. I lived in a camper. You know, I had no ID, no nothing. You know what? I still refuse to pay taxes. You know, I nothing. I work for. I'm an independent contractor, so you know, I get a check at the end of the week. If my employer wants to 1099 me, it doesn't matter to me, you know, because I don't pay that stuff. Yeah, I don't consent to their income tax or any of that type of tax here. I don't consent to any of it. It's bullshit. And so, you know, I got pretty much to that point, you know, where I was, you know, had no cares, and you know, then life happens to you, you know, and you end up coming back in. And let me tell you what, getting off the grid's pretty easy. It's when you have to come back on that's a real pain in the old ass. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, I got a question. Not change subject, but I got a question that I meant to bring up earlier when we were doing this. But as far as like live shows or anything, are you interested in that aspect of it? You know, doing that with your music, like doing a full out show. You know what I mean?
Well, listen, man. I'll tell you. You know, I'm not gonna get into any details, but you know, I'm where I'm at. I have extenuating circumstances that complicate things for me in certain aspects of life. So.
Yeah, I get that.
With that being said, that's the reason behind my absence on the live stream. That's the reason why. So I'll put it to you like this: I've had to turn down more opportunities than probably than most aspiring rappers will ever get.
Well, I'd imagine.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've had to turn them all down, but things are changing. There's been developments. There's things happening. The wheels are turning. So, hitting up some live shows, possibly touring, Europe, the UK. It's definitely a goal of mine, and it's something that as long as everything is cool, then I'll definitely be hitting the road.
Well, that's awesome.
Lee, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Lee remembers the conversation we had, but I was like, yo, could you imagine a live Diesel Automatic show? The energy that would be in that, you know what I'm saying? Like that. Oh man, that would be amazing. That would be
the kids in the States here would light up, dude. You know, I know a few people that run festivals around here, and a few of them, yes, are not exclusively hip hop, but yes, they do allow hip hop acts, and I know exclusively hip hop, promoters around. Yes, the cornfields of Iowa, they even exist around here. But you're in
Iowa, Lee, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, all right. I wasn't really sure where you was at. One of the first. That's funny because one of the first shows that I did with my crew after it was the block party in the hood. The second show we ever did was at University of Iowa. Some dive bar. Yeah, because my DJ went to Iowa. He attended the university. He was a freshman there.
All right.
That was our second show. Yeah.
I can guarantee you, I have probably.
I didn't know you was from Iowa.
I can guarantee you, I've probably gotten drunk and thrown out of that bar. I don't even have to know the name. But there's not a bar in Iowa that I haven't been into. I used to travel around and do road construction, ladies and gentlemen. I don't exclusively just travel around the bars and get thrown out of them. I like to pick the ones that I get thrown out of. It's one of those things. But even out here, I think that if you were to come back to the States and do a quick stint, man, I'd love to. If there's any way that I can end up helping to fund that, I'm gonna do that, because let me tell you what, dude, you would set these kids on fire, man. It'd be like a Slayer mosh pit from the 1990s.
Well, if it's something that I at any point want to do, I'll definitely let y'all know. I'll come on the show and break the news.
Oh, definitely. Even if you want to start doing, I'm working on doing live studio performances with musicians, even if they're not, up in our studio, but live, over the broadcast. This stuff's going to start going on YouTube, everything else, man. I'm working a whole bunch of other angles with how we're doing the show now that we're over at J-Red Radio, and the possibilities are becoming endless, it seems, the more I think about it. So,
right.
but it's
Diesel, if you ever need a hype man too, man, let me know. I know your songs pretty well. You know what I'm saying? That could work too.
You come out there, man, rock with it.
Speaking of songs,
I got my hype man, Polar the White.
I know.
Polar's shit.
Big shout out to Polar too.
Polar and Smitty.
And Smitty.
Those are my hype mans right there.
Polar and Smitty, and I want
about the show and everything.
I got to give big shout out to Binary too for getting the fucking boot in my ass to get us all together, man, because it's been too long, and he's been harping after me for years about it, and I'm like, I know we got to get these time things down, and then he's finally like, let's do this, and I'm like, man, my other account's all fucking banished, I can't even get to it. He just put us all together, and so I was like, sweet. It is real great. So big fucking cheers to him, man.
It worked out perfectly, and we definitely you know, I personally got to give big love and respect to my man Binary because he's definitely a great guy and a loyal supporter for a long time now.
Same with me. He supported me over the years and always been there. You know what I'm saying? If I ever was in something or anything, I could, let him. He just watches, man. He watches everything. He's watching. You know what I'm saying? He may not be on Facebook or he may not be interacting, but he's watching. He's watching everybody.
That's why he's binary watcher.
You know?
Yeah, he's watching. He's watching.
Hey, dude.
He sees us right now. He probably listens.
Probably. You never know, man.
To call in.
Well, we told him to give a call, but
yeah, I told him to call in and join the call. And he was like, I guess he's listening in this aspect, but he was like, just do your thing, and I gave him the opportunity to go ahead and join us there, but. We were going to have him on the show. Lee, you remember that? We were going to have him on the show about 2 months ago.
We've been gonna have him on the show for like 3 years now. It's one of those things. He's like, I'll call in when I can.
Like, I wanna hear. I'd love to hear his voice, like to put a voice to the person.
Right,
but
me
at
too.
the same time, I kind of don't want to hear his voice. He's got such a mystique about him. I don't want to ruin that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That binary watcher, like you don't see him, you don't hear him, but he's there. Like that's that dude.
Yeah. Always watching out. Always watching out for all of us too, dude. You know, I mean, he's always got
I got big love for my man Binary though, no doubt about that.
Yeah, he's always got something for us, man.
I can't even name, obviously, so many people that for years, like it's crazy, like y'all. I mean, 4 or 5 years just riding with me, supporting, like man, it's amazing.
Well, to be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad I ran into you and your music because, like I said, it was a transitional period that I was going through where I was starting to realize how things, I was doing the whole Ron Paul political thing, and I was meeting all these people, and I was using Facebook for different aspects than normal people would. I was doing the activism thing when I could, and I was learning all these things. But then I came across your music and other artists' music, and that's the whole reason I started a radio show. Because I was like, who out here is playing these artists? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's promoting these artists on the radio? And Lee will tell you that. That's why I started the whole radio station thing. And I was like, we got to let people know that these artists are out there. And I don't want to take credit for all that, but like just showing people your music from yourself and these other artists. You know what I'm saying? I remember Steve Grant was sending me his video on Facebook, and I was like, who the hell is Steve Grant? I was like, that sounds like the whitest dude. His name just sounds like the whitest dude from like.
I was tweaking too when Ghost Rider told me like, yeah, my boy Steve Grant. I'm like, what is he? What is he? Your fucking secretary? What you mean? Like he don't got an MC name? Like what is? Matter of fact, I just talked to. You know what? I swear on everything. I just spoke to Steve yesterday. Yesterday or the day before? Yeah, yesterday. And I wanted to just jokingly, because I was thinking about that, and I wanted to just joke with him, like, man, Steve, you gotta come with an MC name, bro. Like, that's cool, but you gotta. It's about time you flip it, bro. You need a nickname. You can't just be Steve Grant all the fucking time. But I love. Man, Steve is my brother, man. He knows that.
He was on the show. He was on the show.
Big MC, a titan.
Like a juggernaut. He was on the show, I guess 2 weeks ago. And at this point, we don't even, I'll reach out to him and be like, yo, you trying to come on the show? But more recently, he's just become like a regular call-in. Stop by and just shoot shit with us.
That's a binary. Yeah.
Steve, see, I can't.
Polar,
yep.
Told me he was calling y'all all the time.
Yep.
He's supposed to join us soon.
It's hard to schedule to these guys like Polar and Steve and even Payday because these guys just call up whenever they want to. They're just just out of nowhere. We'll be doing a show about the toxic points of government economics, and next thing I got Polar the White and Payday Monsanto calling in. It's like we got opinions on this. This is awesome.
I probably do the same, man, because I definitely would be tuning in when I could if I was up at those hours. That's for sure, bro.
Yeah, definitely. We have replays.
Yeah, we got replays up on JRev
Archives and stuff like that.
at JRev on the TuneIn app. Yeah, we've got archives there, and I'm working on putting them up on YouTube as well. It just, man, it's my busy time of year. I'm getting ready. I work 7 days. It's actually costing me money to be here today.
It's no secret though, but podcasts, man. Podcasts is where it's at. Y'all should definitely, and uploading it on YouTube and all of that, man. Even if,
we're working.
I don't know what y'all stuff is like, but video nowadays, all these podcasts, they have the accompanying video that they then upload to YouTube. That's a good look.
Well, there's a reason I have
y'all got a good show, and I definitely appreciate what y'all do for for hip hop, for the movement, for activism, for all of that, and I would love to see the whole thing grow, as much as it can.
Oh man, you have no idea. I appreciate that.
Who was Fairhurst? He was working on a festival a few years ago, but that was a brainchild that I had a long time ago. I was like, if we could get all these artists in one place at one time and have them perform, that would be amazing. And then later on, I met up with Lee and we started doing shows, and we created a show called The Arsenal of Sound, where we played all genres of different styles of music, even if it was just us, playing our favorites throughout, history.
Mm-hmm.
But we would always try to pinpoint throwing in these artists. That way people got exposure to them. Like I said earlier, when I got into radio, I would play artists like yourself on my show, and people would contact me after the show, and they're like, I know you said whose song that was, but can you please send that to me, because I want to hear that again. So it just started, it grew from that, it just steamrolled. And that's where we are today. And even when I talk to people, no bullshit, even when I talk to people to this day, when I'm having a conversation with somebody and we get into music, I always mention you and these other artists. I'm like, yo, check these dudes out. You know what I mean? Like, just go. You may not vibe with it. It may not be what you're on at the time, but you got to appreciate the artistic level and everything that goes into what you put in your music. So over the years, I've gotten positive feedback. People are like, yo, I listen to that to this day, and it's happened over the years. Like I said, 4 or 5. How long we've been doing this, Lee? You know what I'm saying?
873 years.
Yeah.
We've been on the air.
It's grown over the time. Yeah, my point is that it's grown over the time, and like I said, the whole Get Big fam, like I said, it became its own thing, and some of those people that are associated with that are like some of the best. I've never met them face to face, but I know I could always turn to them if I had something or I was in their state. I could hit them up. You know what I mean? It's all love. So that came from you. I met a lot of people through that movement. You know what I mean? What you were doing.
Yeah.
Binary as well. I think I met him through that. So yeah, it's just crazy.
Well, it's the positivity.
That's really what it's all about. I've had people ask me like, oh, what do I, like ask me if there's like some kind of requirements to be down with the movement, like with
initiation.
Like, that's actually the exact opposite of what I intended it to be, because it's get big on it. It's about growing and expanding, which is just bettering yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So and there's a million different levels and forms of self-improvement. And anyone who is consciously working on bettering themselves can be down with the fam. That's the only requirement. If you just don't give a fuck about life and you like out here thugging it and shit, like, sorry, I understand, I got love for you, but Get Big fam, you're not gonna even want to be part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's only about growth. And anyone,
exactly,
like, get big on them, Get Big fam, that's the movement. Anyone who does, hella people rep it. Now, there's the Get Big Gangsta Clique, the Clique, Gangsta, GAINSTA. That's more like the rappers, because I just wanted to distinguish, okay, we're the MCs who also rep, so we could just have our own little thing so people don't get it confused, like, oh, Get Big fam is a rap crew. I don't want anyone to think Get Big fam is a rap crew. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. It's just a way of being. If you're you don't have to be at this level. You don't have to be vegan like me. You don't have to be, you know, on what I would perceive as like my level of consciousness, or you don't have to have acquired as much information as me or as the next person. As long as you're making steps and a conscious effort to better yourself, and you want to see positive change in this world, then you cool with me. You down.
Right.
That's all it really
Yeah,
is.
we didn't even touch on that either. The whole knowledge aspect of it. Like, there's songs that you have that like, I've learned shit. While listening, I'm like, damn, I didn't even know that. Like, you put knowledge in your shit too. That's a positive thing, man. You know, that's groundbreaking. I mean, that's always been a part of, you know, hip hop culture. But like I said, some of these artists, even
Not always.
other artists that we've mentioned, I'll put on their songs and I'll be like, damn, I gotta look that shit up. I didn't even know about that. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, yeah. So you learn shit too. So that's, you know,
I learn like I do collaborations with people and I hear their verse and sometimes I'm like, oh shit, what they say right there? Like, let me look
you gotta go back.
Go look that up. You know, I mean, but that's, you know, I've you know, the way I see it is like I don't know, you know, at this point I don't know everything. Obviously, I don't claim to be some fucking, you know, almighty with the information that I share and like this is the absolute truth. And really, man, sure, there are things that I personally feel passionate about, you know, but that's different.
Right.
It's not what my goal is with the knowledge that I share and the information that I share. My goal is really just to make people think, like, think for yourself, draw your own conclusions. Like, don't follow me, don't even listen to me. Ultimately, I'm no one. Really, real talk. I'm just a man like anybody else. I'm just a human being. I'm not nobody's savior. I ain't no, you know, I'm not some big revolutionary hero. I'm just a dude who has thought a lot, researched a lot, thought about it critically, and I have a talent to share all of that. That's the only real thing that differentiates me from most people, is that I have a talent with the spoken word in the form of rap and just speaking in general, so where I can convey messages in an entertaining and concise, you know what I'm saying, an accurate way.
And informative.
But other than that, like, you know, that's why it's crazy to me when people, you know, I see people online all the time, and not even with me, just with anybody, like, they get so upset with people. Like, if somebody posts something that they don't agree with, or they get so upset because
they get triggered.
They get triggered, but also put so much value into these people. Don't put so much value into even me, into what I say.
Right.
As if what I say is the word of God. That's literally how people react sometimes. Like, relax, yo. It's not that. It's just think of, you don't.
Well, you know, maybe not so much. You know, put maybe not so much take away the value from you.
And the emotional response is immediately to defend your position, as opposed to really, like me. You know, if I ever get triggered, which I don't really get triggered anymore. Now it's more just because I've trained myself. I used to get triggered by things back when I first started, but now I've trained myself to. If I see something and if it makes me feel some kind of way, I wouldn't call that triggered, but it might make me feel some kind of way. And then I stop right away and I say, why? I think about it. What is it? What is it about that? And if something I really feel is dumb or I don't like it, I don't agree with it, I just take to my own platform and I do my own thing, which I think everybody could do. It doesn't matter if you don't have a big following. Create your own platform. Go and share your own opinions and your own ideas. Be the change. Right. Don't sit up here.
Yeah, do a radio show.
So that
or Dennis Ward, exactly, or Lee.
Yeah.
Don't sit up here trying to tell us how to do what we're doing, what we've taken initiative to do, and to share our own thoughts on our own platform. Go and be the change. You want to change us, so go and be that change.
What up, y'all? It's DISL Automatic. Checking in with that realness. You know I do this for the people, man. All day, every day. That's what I'm about. Let's get big on it. This is hip-hop for change, yelling hip-hop hooray. All that fake spitting, I'ma make that shit stop today. Put a hurtin' on the beat, you better get Dr. Dre. I'm doper than a motherfucking ziplocker, yay. If I get locked away, ride for me when I'm gone. If I die, don't cry for me in the song. I live on through the people I inspire to make a change with my rhymes, keep them reaching higher. Oppression is the fuel that is feeding my desire to acquire all the knowledge that is needed and required to fight for the liberty of mankind. If you think we really free, you must be out your damn mind. They say if a man's blind, he can't find the truth. Well, maybe he can hear it, that's why I be in the booth. That's why I be on the rooftop screaming out loud. Power to the people, I'm a dreamer and I'm proud. You can see me in the crowd, I be busting in the cypher. This the type of beat that make a motherfucker hyper. Big up to the UK and all of Great Britain. They be like safe mate when I be straight spitting. I hit them with that real shit every single time. I put my heart and soul into every single line. I committed crimes and I got hit with the punishment. Only reason for the drug war is the government being lobbied by the corporations who are profiting by locking up the people. But it's time we put a stop to them. Stop to them, stop to them. First we gotta wake up, then open our eyes up. Then we gotta come together peacefully and rise up. First we gotta wake up, then open our eyes up. Then we gotta come together peacefully and rise up. First we gotta wake up, then open our eyes up. Then we gotta come together peacefully and rise up. First we gotta wake up, then open our eyes up. Then we gotta come together peacefully and rise up. Rise up. Yeah, boy. That real hip hop. Diesel automatic. You know what I do. Get big on it. Hip hop for change. Power to the people. The mixtape coming soon. And I'm out.
Because that's what it is. People want everybody wants to try to convince people and change the way. See, it's one thing when your social media is built in such a way that you have your platform. You put the information out. No one is obliged to see it. They can ignore it. They don't have to be on there. And that is very different from someone coming onto your platform and saying, don't do this. Don't talk about this. You should do this. Do this differently. You know, one of my pet peeves, like one of the things that always drives me crazy is when people try to tell you how to do your activism. Tell you, that you shouldn't even talk about that topic. It's not that important, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like, hold on, man. Hold on.
Approach it this way. Like that's one of the big things is, your approach isn't right. Well, let me tell you something about. Let me tell the listener something about activism that people fail to realize. Activism, there is no one of any form of activism. There is no one right way to do it.
Yeah.
Why? Because people are individual and unique. What appeals to you is not going to appeal to someone else, and vice versa. What registers in certain people's minds is not all the same. Some people, they respond well to polite, soft-spoken, whatever it may be. Other people, they respond well to guilt, to shame, to some people respond well to aggression. It's fucked up, but that's the reality of the world. Listen, how many people do all of us know that they probably would not get out of your face. Somebody might have a problem with you and be up in your face, and you could try to be calm and cool about it, and they won't back down. But if you stand up and you say, get the fuck out of my face, but even worse than that, even more aggressive than that, chances are they probably going to back down.
Yep. Then all of a sudden, it sounds like one of my ex-wives.
The way the world is, and when you apply that to activism, because that's the point of it all. When you realize it's basic human psychology that people respond differently to different things. Like I hear it a lot with veganism. I see it a lot.
I was just going to say that.
Say, you shouldn't post this or that. But I personally had a slew of people did say that X, Y, or Z helped them go vegan. And all of them had different stories and different approaches that impacted them. A lot of people, they can't take the horrific slaughterhouse pig videos and cool. But a lot of people I was affected by that. That had a big impact on me. So but it could be anything. Now, it doesn't have to be veganism.
I can understand that.
With the political activism, a lot of people just came at me saying, "Oh, you're too aggressive." That was a big thing in the beginning.
Yeah,
you know, a lot of
I get that a lot.
Oh, you're it's too aggressive. Like, you should tone it down a little bit so it'll appeal to more people, or of course, you should try to do something more commercial, or whatever it may be.
Dumb it down.
Yeah, it was my family that attacked me initially when I first started getting on YouTube all by myself and doing these 1 hour rants about what was going on in this country and how the government would actively kill you or come after you for your money and these things like that. My family's looking at me like I'm a lunatic. My ex-wife left me. She's like, "No, I can't deal with your political stuff." And I was like, "I'm trying to make sure that our 4 kids have a future. That doesn't involve handcuffs and shackles on them." And what's so wrong about that? And nobody could understand that. But then the subsequent years, as things have progressed, the more of them have come up to me going, listen to your show the other night. You're right. I'm sitting there going, "Yeah, I know. I don't want to be. I hate being right." And one of the things that we've staked on this show numerous times is, prove us wrong. You may not like what we're talking about. We may say it in one of the most crass and probably quote unquote unprofessional manners as far as radio shows go, but we're not trying to blow smoke up anybody's ass. We're not trying to lie to you. We're trying to get you to get out there and think on your own. And that's why we love, especially getting, and I'm sorry, I'm going to shower you with these connotations. When we get the general right up in here, an interview that we've been wanting for so long. To be up in here and be a part of it, man. And we get these big titans of what's going on as far as conscious rap. They want to be a part of the show. Everybody wants to be a part of the show because we give that type of platform for these individuals to get their message across. And when it comes down to it, the beats are dope, the lines are dope, the flow is hype. You can say all the hype words that you want, man, but the message comes through loud and clear to each and every ear, man. And that's my rap for the day, boys. That's about all the flavor. I should go get some beer now. There's one more round for that. Yeah, I'm a guitar player, dude. I don't know how to rap.
Like I said, when it comes to the whole aspect of radio shows and stuff like that, it's all about you have to create your own lane, and I think DISL does that with his music, and I think it sets him in his own genre. Like I said earlier, it's just you have to have that. If you don't have that, you're just gonna fall into everybody else's category. But for us, at least when it comes to the Friday Night Super Show, I told Lee in the beginning, I was like, our shows on their own are very good shows. We're bringing them together. We're going to create, and that was the brainchild of Lee. Lee approached me with the idea for the Friday Night Super Show. So I was like, when these shows come together, let's do something that's never been done before. Like, let's take it to the next level.
Oh, and
I don't want anybody to be like, oh, well, that show is just a carbon copy, or
it ain't.
I never wanted that. I wanted to transcend.
That's where it had to become what it became. We used to be really, really political when we first started out with the show. We've had on authors and analysis and even people who are running for office in certain categories. But it had to come down to just featuring what was real talk and the people out there, the activists out there that are working for it, whether it be in music or out there on the streets or getting water for the people in Flint or up and down the line. Chicago, up and down, Chicago, Fukushima. We've been talking about this stuff for so long. It's almost like a script to us that we don't have to read. You know, it's and I think you guys, especially in the music part of this, are able to grasp a hold of these kids' asses for a few minutes to go, hey, wait, what's that hit? What's that type beat? Wait, what's he spitting? Man, check him out. What's he saying? And you're making them think. And that, when you said that, that's what you wanted to do, was make people think. You struck me right in the fucking heart, dude. I'm telling you, straight up as a man, you struck me right in the heart, because that's what we're doing. Just one to make people think. I mean, we do it in our slow little drunken own way, because we're crazy like that. But and I'm old, but it's so nice to hear somebody else who's younger than me to go. I just want people to think, because in the end, that's what's going to get us somewhere. I mean, that's what's got us to where we are, is by thinking. Go ahead, bud.
It's like, the way I see it is like this, if I can interject. The only alternative, if we're doing this for activism, and, we want change, we want action, we want things to happen, but ultimately, all of that begins with thought. Everything begins with thought.
Mm-hmm.
Malcolm X said, you can't organize and sleep with people. So we need to wake people up and make them think. And if we're doing this, the alternative to wanting to make people think is to want to make them think like us. And that's dangerous. Yeah,
I ain't trying that.
Anybody their intention should be to get everyone to think like them.
No.
Do you want people to think like you? Do you think, in theory, okay, if we want to have people, if we wish, I wish people saw things the way that I did. I wish, that maybe if we think that our way is the best, that's fine, what we think within us. But if we're trying to essentially, because then it's like a thin line between brainwashing, to try to get people to
exactly.
And it's naive to think that people won't disagree. Like that, to me, let me tell y'all something.
So word.
Because this, to me, I think is very important. Because I see a lot of, division within the movement, the truth movement, the conscious movement. I see it on all fronts, on all levels. And I think a big reason for that, if not one of the biggest reasons for that, is that people, for some reason, feel like, they have to agree with others on everything in order to be united. They focus more on the things they disagree on than the things they actually agree upon.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to get us far. I get it. There has to be a level. Obviously, I'm not trying to unite with racists and with Nazis, and with, I don't need to unite with them. There is a level of, okay, we don't agree on really fucking fundamental things and ideas and philosophies. But within the truth movement, you have so many people. I've seen it. I've had people literally tell me, they could be followers, fans, whatever, and I'll post something. It won't even be a song, or I could just make a post on social media saying something and putting an idea that they don't agree with, and I'm unfollowing you. This is
it discredits everything you've ever done. Right, it discredits everything you've ever done before. I went through that. We've all been through that.
It's like
I get that daily.
So one thing that you disagree with, it's going to override everything else that I've put out that you found value in. It's fickle. It's fickle, and it's what it is. It's self-centered. It's people putting their feelings before the greater cause. Like, look, nowadays look. I'm all about feelings and emotions and honoring one's feelings and being mindful of others' feelings as well. But I'm also mindful of my own feelings, and I'm always mindful to not let my feelings cloud my judgment. And nowadays, it's like everything is about feelings. It's like people get so, that's part of this whole, I guess they would say the SJW, the real politically, like, correct, super sensitive to what people say.
Oh, man.
Listen, I get it. Look, all this shit they're saying now, I applied it to myself years ago. I don't curse. If people listen to my raps and when I talk, there's a lot of terms that I don't use because I find them to be inherently derogatory. But I'm not going around being an activist for that. I lead by my actions and I do it because that's what I feel is right. Now, would I encourage others to be mindful of their words and what they say? Absolutely. But am I going to allow people's feelings getting hurt to potentially impede on our freedom of speech or, you know, to overwrite the truth essentially? It's like you could tell somebody, and that goes back to what we were just saying before about, you know, the way that the message is delivered and people having a problem with it because you could tell someone the truth, but because the way you say it hurts their feelings, you're the bad guy. You're the bad one in the situation. You know, and see, those are the things that you know, I'm not crazy about within the,
you know, everything that you just talked about,
movement, I suppose, if you will.
yeah, everything that you just mentioned, I didn't really know going into all this, so I didn't really pay attention to any of that. So over the years, like I would be like, all right, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. We don't gotta be friends. I'm just gonna move on. I don't have time to be polite and sugarcoat everything for you. But at a certain point, like when you interact with somebody and they're new to any kind of, you know, they're becoming aware or awake or whatever term you want to use, you can't just go up to them and hit them with like a book in the face. You gotta like slowly, gradually. I learned that over time. It's like you gradually gotta.
That's
You gotta, you know,
that's
how you can communicate with this person so they don't just shut you out completely.
that's one aspect of it, and then I think the other aspect of
Even family members.
I think the other aspect of it is something that we alluded to earlier in the show is that there's that ingrained thing of competition with one another in this country.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what?
I like
Hey man, let me tell you about this. Oh yeah, well that doesn't mean anything because I know about this. No, wait, calm down, all right? Calm your tits. I'm not trying to be better than you. I'm trying to help you out here, okay? I'm not trying to, and I've gotten this from my family. It's like, you come across condescending, but I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm sorry that you're not out there paying attention. I just try to give you the information that you don't have, that, you know, the stuff that I've been studying for all these years. Well, you sound like a dick. Well, thanks. You know, that's the way it works. You know?
Let's go, y'all. Get big on 'em.